Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast, where all accountants come to learn all the ways to grow your firm. And when you're in doubt, I am here to help you out. So if you're ready to learn and ready to grow your firm, then you're in the right place to sharpen your skills and increase your revenue. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today, we are talking about how to stop undercharging for your accounting services once and for all. And I see way too many accounting professionals who are overworked, underpaid, you keep discounting your services, and you're underappreciated by your clients. So I have a really simple 5-step process for you so you can start collecting higher fees with confidence, get paid what you're worth, and never undercharge for your services again. Go to 5stepstoabundance.com if you want to start working with more clients who pay you, who appreciate you, where you never have to discount your service again. Once again, that's 5stepstoabundance.com to get access to a free, simple 5-step process right now. And before we jump into today's episode, I wanted to thank a reviewer of the week, and he says it's CCODY2742. This was very informative, a must listen for anyone in the CPA profession. And I'm glad that this is really informative because I come here delivering what I know, the best that I know, in order for you to really grow your firms. Start working with the clients that you love. There's just so many accountants that I've talked to that are working over 50, 60, 70, one this week, 90 hours in a week. And, I really want to get to know more of you, and I'm eager to discover and learn more about each of you who listens every single week. So I want to just take a moment to extend an invitation to you to subscribe and leave a written review so I can keep on delivering the content that you want and love. So again, hit the subscribe button, leave a written review because I read all of them, and I will highlight it here on a future episode of the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Now let's dive into the juiciness of today's show. So welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. It is such an honor to be here with each of you today listening. And today we are talking about how to stop undercharging for your accounting services with some value-based pricing ideas. And if you've ever wondered, if the prices you're charging your clients, maybe are they good? Are they fair? And you're always wondering, what should I be charging? I don't know what my clients are willing to pay. I wonder if I charge this, would they even pay it? And it's really a great question. It's a great question because a lot of times accountants and CPAs, especially, you don't always maybe have enough training. Maybe you're not an expert in a certain area that a client's asking you to work for, and you really haven't learned how to incorporate these pricing strategies into your business model. So this actually leads a lot of accountants and CPAs discounting or undercharging for the services that you provide unknowingly because the value pricing is just too low and you're just not sure what to charge. So in today's episode, I will provide you with some smart pricing strategy examples so you can decide on the pricing model and template that works best for you. So ultimately, what do? We make more money and you help clients that you truly want to help. So that is my takeaway for you. And again, we are talking about the value pricing and different pricing strategies that work for you. So I have a great quote that I actually came up with, and it's know what you're worth and then charge it without any apology or hesitation. And I want to stress the apology or hesitation because I've worked with so many accountants that apologize in advance for something that you've done or maybe haven't even done. And really knowing what you're worth deep down inside your core is what will have you say your investment to a client without ever having to apologize and without ever having any hesitation whatsoever. And that's really what we're talking about here today on the Abundant Accountant podcast. So what is the first thing to being able to charge without apologizing and without feeling bad about it? Take a guess. Well, let me share it with you. It's believing in yourself and knowing what your value is. Maybe it's based on, do you have a master's in tax? Maybe you're a tax attorney. Maybe you're a high level bookkeeper and you only take on the top 20 clients at a time that you can bring on. But really know that your client has some sort of struggle they're dealing with. They have a pain and you have a solution to help them. And you are the best person to work with. So I'll give you an example about myself. I'm Michelle. I'm the pitch queen. I am the host here of the Abundant Accountant podcast. And I believe in myself so much that if you need help with your sales conversations, or you need help increasing your sales from the leads that you have coming in, or you have all these clients that tell you they want to think about it, or whatever it may be as it relates to a conversion in a sale, that I am the best person to help you. I know your industry in and out. I know and think like an accountant now. I've had so many hundreds of conversations with accountants that I know everything you go through as if I've lived it and breathed it myself. Now, are there a lot of other probably people that could train you in sales and follow-up and elevator pitches? Of course, there's a lot of people. But I know so deep down inside me to my bones that I know that you maybe need me and that I'm the best. Do you know that? That's where the value can, perpetrate into the other people that you're talking to and your future prospects. So I like to keep track of all of my positive wins. I do that by getting client reviews and client testimonials from my happy clients. I do that by sharing emails. Like I got one the other day from, I think it was Mary. Michelle, I got a new client, $3,000 a month. I am so excited. Thank you for everything that you've taught me. I get wins. I also have a little Facebook group for everyone that's been through my class, and everyone posts their wins in there too. Those wins are all positive words of reinforcement for me to keep delivering and giving you the best value. And not only that, having me believe in it. So having your clients do the same for you would translate into more business for you as well. So what are your strengths? What are you good at? Well, for those of you that have worked with me or maybe considering working with me, my strengths are that I will hold you accountable. I will support you to your dreams and make sure that they actually come true in your business. I will make sure that you have the confidence if you don't have it in your sales conversations. I will spark something that's been dormant in you for a very long time so you have the best success in your accounting firm. There are a lot of strengths, but those are just some. How many people have I helped? Maybe think about how many people have you helped in your firm. I don't help a ton of people, but I do help accountants who have been in business a couple years. You've had clients tell you they want to think about it. You're too expensive. I thought that service was already included in this other service. Why are you charging me more? Really getting so confident on anything that you're told from any client. So I've helped over 25 people almost in my one-on-one class, or maybe it's actually 25 in the last 12 months. So think about how many people have you helped? What are your strengths? How are you delivering that? And how are you tracking it to get the results from your clients? So are you doing video interviews with them? Are you getting written testimonials? What are you doing to get to those clients? Another thing that I personally do, you can use affirmations, you can use mantras to boost your confidence and also help believe in yourself. One of the things that I do is I say I'm gracefully resilient, inspiring myself and others to take action for what you want right now. There is no guarantee of tomorrow. For those of you that have had someone pass away close to you, you never know when that day will come. So why wait? When people want to make a decision, I help empower them, inspire them to make decisions now. There's no point in really waiting for very long. And don't ever doubt your expertise. I see this as a big one with a lot of accountants and a lot of CPAs, a lot of enrolled agents, tax attorneys. If there is an area where you doubt your confidence in a certain expertise, number one, refer it out, or number two, go become an expert on it. And I'm going to give you an example like a dentist, because I recently have been to the dentist a lot. And one of the examples I want to share is that if you want to become, let's say, an expert in tax planning, go get education through Certified Tax Coach to become an expert in tax planning. If you were a dentist and you wanted to only do root canals, which is a high-level service in dentistry, or maybe an oral surgeon would be a better example, you're going to go through extra schooling. You're going to go get a different designation that sets you apart from all of the other dentists out there. So it's not any different in the dental industry as it is for you in the tax industry. I've worked with a lot of people who are high level in profit first. If that's the area you want to focus on, become an expert with Mike and Ron. Like, know it inside and out. So you can never doubt your expertise, but know you are the expert to the bone. Like, all through your layers of your skin, you know deep down inside that no one can do it better than you. And, you know, at that point, you're literally qualified to charge any price that you want where it makes sense. And when you have that kind of confidence, that is where the believing in yourself comes into play. So that is step number one to really learning how to stop undercharging for any of the services in your firm. So let's talk about step number two. This one is crucial. This one you cannot miss. This goes for anything you do in life, and that is creating rapport and trust with the clients that you end up loving and serving on. What is building rapport and trust? We've talked about it here on the Abundant Accountant podcast in the past, but I'm going to give you an example. I was just on the phone with a new client, and he loves to travel to Hawaii with his wife, and he was talking about how he's from New York. Well, my whole family's from New York, so we talked about New York. I also love Hawaii. My best friend from high school, she lives on the island of Maui, so I go there 2 or 3 times a year. And it's so important that you connect on a personal level with your prospects and your clients. It's actually imperative. And if you want to really grow your top line revenue, grow your clients, be able to charge any price without ever undercharging what your value or worth is, the rapport and the trust that you establish with a client in the first 5 to 10 minutes is crucial. So with this client, we'll just call him George. George was telling me about how his wife and him go to Hawaii twice a year. He's from New York. And now he's really started to love Waikiki Beach. He says it's almost like a mini Manhattan on an island. And I can appreciate that. I actually was just in Waikiki about a month ago, and we were talking about the hotel I stayed at. I said, hey, have you ever stayed at I think it was called like the Cruise Liner Hotel. It's a Westin resort. They have these rocking chairs out front, and you sit and rock and sip your coffee and eat gelato all day. It's great. You know, he's like, well, yeah, I love it. That's why I love going to Hawaii twice a year, and it's almost like New York on an island. I talked about that for a good 10 minutes. So my point to you is to build rapport and trust, find some common ground, find a story, find something interesting about them that has nothing to do with their business. It has nothing to do with what they're trying to accomplish with their business. It's more about what's in it for their life and their personal life. Why do you like going to Hawaii? Why do you like escaping to the Manhattan of the beach? So get to know them more on a personal level than on a client. Always, always listen all the time. You know, it's really good when a client, and this is just a little secret, says, are you still there? You know, when you put the pause button down and they say they're wondering where you disappeared to, that is so amazing when they say that. And it's like, yeah, I was just listening. I was just jotting down a few notes. I didn't know if you were finished talking yet. People love to talk, so let them talk. I believe, and what I've learned in really the whole sales experience, even just the other day, I went to Nordstrom. How many of you like to have a firm like Nordstrom where It's high level service. You charge whatever you want and people will pay you premium fees all day long. That's what I think Nordstrom is. If you don't have a Nordstrom, make sure to check it out when you're on the West Coast in the United States. But at Nordstrom, the whole experience, this woman was like, how can I help you? And they say, oh, I'm just looking. And she just keeps rambling and talking. How you can build rapport and trust in that element is, maybe comment on the outfit they're wearing. So if you're meeting clients in person, that's another great tool that you can use. You can say, I love your purse. I love your bag. It's a great jacket. Where did you get a blazer like that? I mean, it has to be authentic and truthful, but there's always something to find. Like on my desk here, I have this orchid, and people who end up coming here in person say, oh, Michelle, I love the orchids. Do you love plants? And yeah, I love plants. My mom is a big person in plants. So I always have plants either in my house or in my office. So again, finding common ground, building trust, building rapport, and really being transparent about how much it will be worth their while when you all work together and what you're able to accomplish and share based on the personal information that they provided. That's very important. So with my last client, I was sharing with him, if he makes these changes in his business, he might be able to add another trip to Hawaii, maybe go to a different island once a year and start exploring something new because his goal is only to work twice a week. What would life be like if you could work 2 days a week? That's his goal, and that's what he's setting himself up for, so you can do it too. And always speak to your clients in terms of the results you will be able to get to them as it relates to their personal wants, goals, and dreams. It can be all about business all day long, but people don't really buy based off always business. Now, if I were your client, my nickname is Spreadsheet. And if you sold me numbers on a spreadsheet as to why you're so great and all that, I will probably buy because I will buy off a spreadsheet. 99.9% of your clients will never buy off a spreadsheet. How many times have maybe you offered a client and you could save them $100,000 and maybe you wanted to charge them $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 and they said no, or I want to think about it. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. But some people won't. And this part about building rapport and trust is the cornerstone to really getting exactly what you want to charge and having you never undercharge for your services because of having pricing strategies in place and having a structure. This is the structure, by the way. Step number 3, calculating your rates carefully. This is very important in making sure you can stop undercharging, right, for the services. But let's say you give a flat fee on a project. And we've talked about this on a previous episode with Dominique Molina from Certified Tax Coach. Let's say you're going to do a flat fee on a project. Make sure, number one, you know how many hours you're going to spend on it. I don't believe in calculating hours per se, but having a good idea of what something's going to take you is very important. You can't just wing it. With this client I just was on the phone with, one of the things we were talking about was having ad hoc ways of doing things and not having it, but winging it. Ad hoc and winging it. And those are the two things you want to stay far away from. If you're ad hoc, piecing it together as you go, and you keep winging it over and over and over again, and you're wondering why you're not getting the right results, it might be something to look into. So it doesn't matter if $10,000 sounds like a lot, but if you're going to spend 200 hours on a project, that's really only $50 an hour. So are you worth more than $50 an hour? So really thinking about how long a project is going to take and, thinking about what you want to charge the client. What is that price that will have you happy, that will have you going above and beyond for your clients, doing everything and anything they ever ask for? And really keep in mind too, keeping time if you have to respond to emails, if you have to respond to phone calls, if you have to do any research that requires a ton of time, it's something really important to keep in mind. Step number 4, how do you deliver and communicate your value, right? That's a big one. Explaining exactly how you can help them and the benefits that they're going to receive after all of the other steps are taken care of course. Having testimonials and case studies of other clients that you've helped and served that have been maybe in a similar boat. So with my client just now, I have worked with other people that wanted to get down to a work week of like 3 days a week. We'll call him Jonathan. And Jonathan, he works like 4 or 5 hours a day. He doesn't work more than 4 days a week. He's doubled or tripled his revenue. Like he's created all of this success for himself. So what do? I document it and I share it with others. I have a client review page. So for each of you, I would create a client review page of the happy clients you've done accounting services for, your happy clients you've done profit first services for, your happy clients you've done tax planning, your happy clients that you've done tax resolution for and you got them out of their mess, your happy clients that you've done pumpkin planning for, your happy clients that you're the best bookkeeper that they've ever seen and had. You're the best enrolled agent they've ever had. Whatever it is, have a client review page that you can share with your future prospects. Because what you want to do is when you're talking to your clients about communicating your value, they've seen that in advance. And then what you do is you connect how your service will help them get to their goals and dreams. So with Jonathan, it's, hey, if you want to create that life of 4 days a week, of working only 4 or 5 days a week or 4 or 5 hours per day, here are the steps that you need to do in order to get to that result. Or with my other person, hey, I want to go to Hawaii. I want to work 2 days a week and I don't want to do anything else. And I want to spend more time with my wife. I've got 5 more years until I sell my business and that's what I want to create. Okay, well, by working with me, are you able to achieve that? So setting up and connecting the dots, this is very, very important. You want to connect your service or services to their goals, to their challenges, or to whatever they want to create, okay? One other little tidbit, I like to call this the bonus of the bonus, is think about what will happen to this client if they don't work with you. What happens if you discount this price so much that they don't see the value in you and they walk the other way? What happens if you undercharge for this service so much that they turn the other way and leave because they don't understand why you're so cheap? Have you ever had that happen? But think about how will this change the game for your business and firm. Step number 5. And the last step is knowing your boundaries and sticking to them. If someone won't agree to your fees, are you going to beg them to work with you? Or are you going to start discounting everything until they say yes? Or are you going to start negotiating prices? How many of you are culprits of negotiating prices just to get a client to work with you? The second you start doing that, this is how you'll never be able to stop undercharging for your accounting services and whatever it is that you do. So remember, if someone won't agree to your fees, it's not about you. Just let them go. It's not a good fit. You don't want to work with them anyway. I can't tell you how many of the accounting professionals I personally worked with said, Michelle, yeah, every single one that complained about fees are the ones that I actually still want to get rid of. So save yourself a headache and stick to your boundaries and stick firmly to your guns once you come up with what price do you want to charge your clients. Very, very, very important. This is what I call too the area of your pricing strategies. Your pricing strategy should be committing to yourself and your boundaries that you set. Walking away from business is more powerful than saying, oh, well, I'll do it for, $2,000 like the other CPA down the street or whatever they tell you, right? because this is when someone will see the value in yourself. And the value in yourself is what allows people to pay even more. It's really true. How many of you have experienced that? Just think real quick. When you've walked away because someone tried to negotiate your prices or, nickel and dime you, it's like, I just walk away. It's not worth your time. And discounting your services not only decreases your value, but it doesn't help your clients at the end of the day either. It's hard to say, but like when I was raising money, there was a lot of negotiating when raising funds for a company, right? But when you're selling a service like this and you stay true to your services, at Nordstrom, do they have a bunch of sales and discounts? No. They have 2 a year, and a half-yearly sale and like a sale around the holidays. But that's about it. So maybe in your firm, you could do that too. Maybe in December, you give incentives for doing tax planning because it's a great month to increase revenue and do a lot of year-end tax planning. Maybe there's some ideas that you can do half-yearly to attract a new type of client that you've been looking forward to working with, but they really haven't engaged in you, and it can be a fun incentive. But you're not saying, hey, I'm $15,000 to do this engagement, and the client comes back and says, oh, well, I'll do it for $12,500. This is not a negotiation practice, and that's what I mean by knowing your boundaries and sticking to them. And keep the abundant accountant mindset, right? The mindset where we're at. Not like, oh, I really, really need this client, but really about know that there are countless ideal clients out there for you. And that if you partner and refer with people who are listening here to the Abundant Accountant podcast, there's plenty of business for each of you, I promise. And know when to walk away and create the space for a better fitting client. When we walk away, and it might take you a minute to wrap your head around this, but when you walk away from a client, it opens the door for what? For more opportunities to work with the right clients. So that is what I have for you today. And I would love it if you could leave a written review, like a comment review, about what's the one thing you're going to implement today, right? What pricing strategy are you going to do? What kind of value pricing maybe can you stick on a few different services and try it out and stick to it? Thank you all so much for joining me here on this amazing episode of the Abundant Accountant podcast. If you have a quick second, I would be grateful if you left a written review and a rating for this show right here on iTunes. I always like hearing from you, and I will share your review on a future episode right here on the Abundant Accountant podcast. And if you want to get that free guide, you can do that at 5stepstoabundance.com. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.